WPTV.
Welcome back to the desk. Week 13 of the NFL came and went. Here to break it all down, we have Joe P, Ryan, Mark, and Joe M. Now, Joe P, the Bills and the Patriots were locked in a brutal matchup this last Monday. The elements were crazy. It was a big matchup in the AFC East. Hey, Joe, what we see from the game?
Samory, this game was wild. The only way to believe it is to see it. Let's look at some highlights here. Bills, Patriots, Monday Night Football. That wind was insane. The snow was coming down earlier. Thank goodness, though, there was no snow flurry during the game. 20 to 50 mile an hour winds. They got up to 40 miles an hour. Here was the big play. Damian Harris in the backfield. Mac Jones will take the snap and toss it. He did a lot of that. And Damian Harris just rips through that Bills defense and goes all the way to the end zone, almost untouched. This was on third down. Patriots got up 6-0. Little two-point conversion here. Converted, and the Patriots got up 8-0, a lead that they would not relinquish for the rest of the day. They ended up winning 14-10 here as you have the 4th and 17 punt by the Bills, and this is where things got a little dicey as Jacoby Myers returning the punt. Ball came off his face mask. Bills in the red zone. They would threaten. It was a close call. I don't know if I agreed with this call personally, as it seemed to just graze his face mask, but here's Josh Allen with the touchdown pass right here. Looks like 8-6 would be the score following this. Josh Allen whips it. I tell you, he throws the ball hard, and he dropped back 30 times here. Allen to Gabriel Davis, 14 yards. And 8-7, Patriots would kick a field goal, go up 11-7, which is a little bit of a bizarre score that, if you personally ask me. Bills would not be silenced. They would kick another field goal there to knock the score down to 11-10. They would end up with 10 points. And here we go. The final score of the game, Patriots in the fourth quarter with the wind at their backs, 14-10. And this would be your final score. One of the craziest games you will ever see. Late in the game, the Bills attempted the field goal, didn't make it, a la the Super Bowl from the 90s.
Wide right?
Looks wide right. We have some more highlights here. Look, the Bills had a chance. Josh Allen slinging in the end zone. It was batted away. That classic Belichick defense held strong for the entire game and shocked that Buffalo faithful. Look how happy the Patriots are. It's so nice to see smiles back on the Patriots sidelines.
Don't lie. Don't lie to people.
It's so nice.
Don't lie.
I'll tell you this.
Nobody wants to see the Patriots
I'll tell you
back.
this. If Tom Brady was still in the Patriots and they came to him with that game plan, he would be weeping in Robert Kraft's office within 2 hours. He would have never allowed them to only throw the ball 3 times. I just have to say that.
Ryan, quickly, what we see from the game? Quickly.
I mean, Bill Belichick's just a coaching master, and we haven't seen anybody throw less than 3 passes in the game in over 45 years. The way that he manages games, the way that he uses the pieces he has, it's just masterful. Well,
Mark, can you take us through the stats from the game? It was a really close game if we actually look at it.
Yeah, if we look at the stats here, you know, score of 14-10, passing yards 145-19 in favor of the Bills. But you look at those rushing yards, and that is what killed them. You know, Patriots ran all over the Bills' defense, 222 rushing yards to not even 100 on the Bills. Time of possession, that's a big thing in football, but it looks fairly even there. And the turnovers, of course, even. But, you know, those rushing yards, you go back to those. I felt like I was watching Jim Thorpe out there, you know, one of the greatest players of all time. But run the ball, that was the key of the game.
Joe, quickly.
I mean, listen, you look at the elements of the game, right? A huge wind miles per hour, like I said, 40 to close to 30, 40 miles per hour. The Bills defense, it's so easy, obvious what they're going to run. They ran the same play almost every time. You give up 200-plus yards compared to your rush yards. You only had 99. So that's really the moral of the game. Defense couldn't stop the run.
Yeah. So that was the AFC. Let's shift over to the NFC now. We have a lot of teams jockeying for playoff position. The 6 and 7 seed are really close. The Rams are sitting at 8-4 in the 5th seed. I think they're going to lock that down, gentlemen. But there's a lot of other teams making noise. Joe M, we'll start with you. Who do you think is going to make? Excuse me, Joe P. Who do you think is going to make it?
Well, for me personally, it's got to be the Washington football team. I like hard-nosed defense, and I like experienced coaching. More so than any teams vying for the spot, I think the football team has the coaching edge and the defensive edge against the teams that you guys have chosen.
Ryan?
I got the 49ers. We talk about them a lot on this show recently. George Kittle's probably the best tight end in football right now. They're a little beat up, but once they heal up, I think they have a good chance of winning 3 out of 5 and sneaking in.
Mark?
You know, I'm going to take Minnesota Vikings. I know they've looked shaky a little bit. You know, a loss to the Lions, that's never good.
They almost blew a 29-point lead last night, too.
But if you look at how that defense played last night, leading up to that, you know, almost blown, you know, lead, They played really well. They showed some fronts that really confused that Pittsburgh offensive line, which was key for them because that Pittsburgh offensive line isn't good anyway.
What did Tomlin call them? A JV
yeah,
line?
they played like junior varsity.
Yeah, that's a shame, Joe M. But who do you think is going to make it in the NFC?
Listen, I'm sticking here in the NFC East. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. I really like the way that they've changed their offense up, going more with the RPO, the running game. Boston Scott, Miles Sanders. Listen, they're sitting 6-7 right now. They're playing. Basically, the rest of the schedule is the NFC East.
Yeah,
that's all that's really left. So you can't count them out. It's pretty much not gonna say easy schedule, but more easier than compared to the other teams fighting for spots.
Now, something that has not been easy is Lamar Jackson's struggles recently. Joe, I know that probably hurts your heart. But Ryan, we'll go to you on this one. He's been pretty down for the past 3 games. What have you seen from it?
Trash. Let's see the stats.
Wow.
Lamar Jackson, 60. That's okay. 61.6% completion percentage, 3 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's twice as many, and 162 rushing yards. That's not a lot for him, and a 1-2 record. This is not the Lamar Jackson we saw back in 2018. He is making bad decisions throwing the ball instead of getting chunked. Instead of going for little short gains, he's trying to force chunk plays. And he's just trying to play hero ball, and it hasn't been working for the Ravens and making them look bad.
Joe, you're already shaking your head. I was going to go this way, but what you got, sir?
Trash. Trash.
Yes, correct.
Folks, Lamar Jackson is playing with a shell of the roster that he came into the league with. He is playing with a battered offensive line and no running backs, and he is carrying them. They almost won that game against Pittsburgh. They came within inches of winning that game. Lamar Jackson has struggled, absolutely. But so is your favorite quarterback. Allen, Mahomes, Prescott, all have struggled. Jackson is still the best quarterback in football.
Mark?
No. Okay, go on.
Yeah, you know, looking at the stats, obviously it's a bit concerning for Lamar, but you take that at face value because realistically, he's the only person on that team right now worth anything. He's the only one keeping them even in games, and I think with 18 now players on the IR with Marlon Humphrey going down.
Can you repeat that again?
18 players
That's
on
insane.
IR. That's over. That's like over half of
almost 2 starting units.
Exactly. That's insane, and the amount that he has to do to keep them in games is going to result in turnovers.
Joe?
Listen, I think trash is a big overstatement there. I definitely disagree with you on that. But listen, we mentioned injuries, right, throughout the season, pregame. Before the season started. But listen, for the Ravens, take Lamar out. What are the Ravens without Lamar? They're nothing.
They won a game without Lamar.
Cool, that's one game, Ryan. What about the rest of the season? They're nothing without Lamar. They led the AFC with the best with the best record so far at one point during the season. Without Lamar Jackson, this Ravens team is nothing offensively. And defensively, the defensive side of it, I think they look at Lamar as a true leader as well for that whole team in general. Harbaugh loves Lamar. They love going gutsy. I think without Lamar, that team is really struggling. But Lamar he's going to find his act again. They'll be fine.
Can we calm him down? But yeah, we're going to say goodbye. This is the last question of this block. And, with that, we're not going to be back until Super Bowl season, maybe NFC title time. But, Joe P., we're going to start with you. What do you think the matchup for this Super Bowl is going to be? It's going to be a fun one in February. I can't wait for it.
Samory, when you guys come back and you're talking about the Super Bowl, it's going to be the Rams against the Ravens. There is no doubt in my mind. Let's look at these two teams' records and how they compare to each other. The Ravens are sitting at a clean 8-4. The Rams, they have lost a few games, but they are 8-4 as well. The Ravens will be fine. Every team that they will play either cannot run the football or has a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. So I think that they will be absolutely okay. And on the Rams side, Odell has been cooking lately. I really like what I've been seeing.
Mark?
So my pick for the Super Bowl is the Green Bay Packers, who on both sides of the ball have been elite this season.
Jair Alexander's coming back soon as well.
And looking at their middle linebacker, he's been playing phenomenal. And it pains me to say, I think they will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs, who are my most hated team in football. The Chiefs have definitely found their footing on both sides of the ball, and their defense has been really good since Week 8.
Look, when we talked about the Chiefs, what was bad with them, we talked about their defense. They have been allowing 13 points per game since then. That's been really, really good.
They stepped it up big time.
Ryan, who you got?
Well, I'm going chalk. I'm going the 1-1, Cards-Pats. It's the game that I want to see. I want to see Belichick if he can prove that he can win a Super Bowl without Brady. And, of course, the 2 young quarterbacks on either side. It's the game that I want to see, and it's the game that the league needs. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see that one. Joe M., close us out.
This is possibly maybe a fantasy idea, but I'm going with the Bucks and Pats. This is probably a Super Bowl that people are like Tom Brady versus his former head coach, Bill Belichick, right? Listen, the Bucks, versatile offense. However, they need to improve defensively, however. For the Pats standpoint, listen, what they're doing defensively, their defense is clicking right now. And that's one of the reasons why they've been playing very good, but also give a lot of credit to Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels for what they've been doing with Mac Jones and really helping the offense and building it around him to make the system work for him.
Yeah. I don't think that's a fantasy matchup. They played this season. The Patriots played them well.
No, they played early this season.
They played earliest. I'm not going to say anything. Well, all those were great picks. You know, we've had a lot of great picks on the NFL block this semester, and, you know, I'm happy to say that I was able to do it with you guys. But we're going to continue all the energy with the NBA block for our last block of the year, only here on WP Sports Desk.